Okay. Okay, we're good. More questions. No, it's staff. Did it stop? No, okay. Alright, you next. I asked the personality.
What's your favorite superhero?
Like, could you be, well, what's, if you could be a superhero, what would it be? Like, which superhero would it be?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Why?
Well, you know why? Because I bet it's got to be more far out to be Spider-Man. Superman is too easy. It never falters. But if you're Spider-Man, what happens if you miss that thing when you shoot that web out and you miss the building, and then all of a sudden you're flying through the air and you got to figure out how you're going to save yourself. So I think there's more risk to being Spider-Man. I think it's cooler to be
Gonna be a
Spider-Man.
rebel, Mr. Shimmer?
Yeah. Spider-Man's cooler than Superman. Plus, Spider-Man is a hybrid, DNA hybrid. Superman's an alien. Spider-Man is a hybrid with spider DNA and his human DNA. Remember we were talking about hybrids? It's not so far away now, is it?
No, you're right. You're right. All right. What are your ethnicities and like, do you speak other languages? Like, do you speak their languages? Because like your family's really cool.
No.
Just English.
Only en English.
That's no fun.
No, Hungarian.
You can speak it?
No, I can't speak. My mother. Typically, children speak the language that their mothers spoke. My mother only spoke English. My father spoke a bunch of languages, but my mother grew up basically in Cleveland. She was born in Canada, and my grandfather and my grandmother were British subjects in Northern Ireland, so they came from like Northern Ireland, but they only spoke English. So.
I wanted you to speak some Hungarian language of some sort.
What would you name your alter ego?
My alter. What do you mean, like Dr. Heckle and Mr. Hyde?
Sure. What would you name?
Dr. Heckle, Dr. Jekyll. It's Dr. Jekyll. It's not Dr. Heckle. That's my alter ego's name. I want to be known as Dr. Heckle.
Okay, awesome. What did you do for work before you taught Lakeshore?
I was a salesman.
Right, you wanted the security systems.
Yeah.
Tell us what they got the most, Mr. Shimmer. Like what you got to sell.
What did you sell the most of?
The wireless smoke detectors.
Tell the story of the old lady.
The old lady with the Cocker Spaniels? So she's in the middle of a vineyard in Westfield, New York, and she's telling me she doesn't need an alarm system. And she had these Cocker Spaniels running around. And I said, in the event of a fire, can those dogs dial 911?
Yeah.
And so we sold her an alarm system that was mostly wireless smoke detectors.
Yay. What did you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I would wake up wanting to be like an astronaut, and I'd go to bed wanting to be, something else. I'm still like that. I'm not quite there yet. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
You haven't grown up yet?
No, I'm still working on it. It takes your whole life to learn how to become a human being.
Great. Not looking forward to that. If you could live anywhere, where would you live?
Anywhere? Martha's Vineyard. They're somewhere on Cape Cod, near the ocean.
Why?
Because it's beautiful. It's the ocean,
I feel you.
sand,
Don't you want to visit the jellyfish?
steamed clams, whales, history, the ghosts. They have ghosts there too.
No, I don't.
Yeah, they got ghosts there. Yeah,
There goes
That's
everywhere.
cool.
they do.
What does that mean?
Oh, just kidding.
Okay.
What were your parents' occupations?
My mother was a mom, but she was a lot more than a mom. She was a buyer for like department stores, but then when she met my dad, she became a mom, and then had 8 kids, right? So she took care of us. My dad was a doctor.
kind of doctor?
He was a heart doctor.
Cardiologist.
He was a cardiologist.
Was he a good cardiologist?
He was a very good cardiologist. And if he were here today, he'd tell you just how great of a cardiologist he really was. Western civilization, in terms of medicine, wouldn't be the same had he not lived, according to him.
Do you think?
Well, we better not. Wait, this is. We better get that off there.
We'll edit.
No.
Do you think he would be mad that you ate so much chicken wings?
You know what? That's interesting. Yeah, go ahead. That's actually an interesting question. My father, like a lot of people, including myself, is a combination of hypocrisy. So even though he was a heart surgeon, he didn't follow what he recommended. So and he was the kind of person that would walk up to a patient with his big gut hanging out, eating a jelly donut and saying to the guy, you're too fat, you got to lose weight because your heart's going to be bad. And he did actually. He died. He was 82. He died from congestive heart failure. But like everybody, But like everybody, we come with our contrasts and our hypocrisies. It's part of our human nature.
His alter ego.
Yeah, so even though I know eating chicken wings is not good for me, yet, can you get the door?
Overflow crowd.
No kidding. Oh, that was the lunch crowd. You got the lunch crowd.
Yeah, the 3, and then there was a ton of them in there before that. So.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. Am I taking pictures? Yeah, I'm taking pictures.
So it's part of our human nature that we come with our hypocrisies. We say one thing but we do another, or we do one thing and we say another. We advise one way but don't follow the advice ourselves.
Did you get a constrictor snake for your child?
No way.
Is that just something you felt?
Hmm?
Oh, is that just something that you have always stuck by?
So you
No.
when you say it.
Not having a constrictor snake. That's just something I find is sort of appalling. I mean, I think it came around when I used to be an on the road salesman. I used to go to people's homes. I remember going into one apartment one time, and there's a young parents in there, and they got like 3 or 4 of these little constrictor snakes around their neck, and they're, here I am trying to sell them something, and they're playing with these snakes, but they have young children, and I thought when I was leaving there, I thought to myself, this is just absurd.
What are the
That
other
is the most.
things?
I mean, constrictor snakes belong in the environment in which they evolved. They don't belong in your living room with your kids. You know what I mean? That's just so that's absurd to me, right? So I say there's a couple of absurd things that I say that I tend to I can go a lot of pretty broad-minded and open-minded, do a lot of different things, but constrictor snakes with kids, stupid.
What are the other things you recommend as a parent?
Vaccinate your children.
And one more.
What was the other one? I say a lot of things, and I don't remember everything I say.
Let's talk about reading to your children.
Oh, read. Yeah. Read. Right from the get-go. Hop on pop, green eggs and ham, and then 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Read them the Carrot Seed. The greatest book ever written is the Carrot Seed. A lot of people think they'll say, oh, it's the Bible, or it's Ernest Hemingway's, or what, Old Man in the Sea, or Who the Bell Stole, whatever. No, it's not. It's the Carrot Seed.
Why? What's it about?
Carrot Seed's about this little kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got this carrot seed. And so he plants this carrot seed. And his father says, that thing's never going to grow. But he waters the carrot seed every day. And then the mother says, honey, why don't you go play outside or whatever? That thing's never going to grow. But yet he keeps watering the carrot seed. And his family, his brothers say, that thing's never... Everybody around him says, that's never going to grow. Everybody around him says, it's not possible. But yet the little boy, for whatever reason, his intuition or something inside told him that if I keep watering this carrot seed, that it's going to grow. And the very last page of the book shows him with this huge carrot in a wheelbarrow.
Ha ha.
And the line says something like, and it grew just like the little boy had known it would. It's a life lesson in perseverance. We give up long before we ever even knew we were successful.
I like that.
Okay, no problem.
How did you?
Remember, it's our failures that define us as human beings, not so much our successes.
How'd you meet your wife?
I met her at a cocktail party.
How'd that go over?
I sold a security system to a dry cleaners. It was their grand opening, and they were opening on the corner of Delaware and is it Bryant? Delaware and Bryant, right near Children's Hospital. Right around. It was on Delaware. No, it was on Elmwood. It was on Elmwood and Bryant. It wasn't Delaware. It was Elmwood and Bryant. Right around the corner from Children's Hospital. Anyways, so because I sold them their security system, they invited me to their grand opening party. And so I happened to live just down the street from there at the time, and I went down to their party. And Mrs. Schimmer was standing there.
Was it hard for?
Yeah, go ahead.
Was it hard? Like? Did you guys like start talking right away, or was it like a?
Love at first sight, or
was it just like a? I don't know. Kind of like bumped into each other. Like, did you guys spot each other or just bump into each other?
Yeah, I think it was a mixture of a little bit of everything. Where the girl who owned the dry cleaning business sort of introduced us. But what's interesting about that is after the party was over, we went down to this bar, and she parked in the parking lot next to this bar where you're not supposed to park. And then after we're in this bar, and then a truck that worked at this business parked his truck in the parking lot and blocked her car in so she couldn't get out. So I had to give her a ride home. So I gave her, and this was in downtown Buffalo, and she needed a ride home. I'm like, I'll give you a ride home, right? And she goes, but I live in Williamsville. I'm like, I don't care. I'll give you a ride home. It's no problem, right? So we gave her a ride home, right? And now we are in our early 30s when we meet. I might be 30. How was that gone? Was I 31, 32 maybe? She was like 33, 30. She's a couple of years older than me, right? So anyways, she was staying at her mother's house in Williamsville. And she wanted to kiss me goodbye when I was dropping her off at her mother's house. And it's late at night. Like late, like it's like in the middle of the night. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And her mother caught her kissing me goodbye. Can you believe that? She's in her 30s. Her mother's like, who's that? Her mother's never liked me since.
Really? Her mom still doesn't like you?
No, she's all right now. She got over that one.
That's really funny. Who's that guy? Oh, that's so funny. Okay. What's some of your favorite quotes?
My favorite quotes?
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I say, or the ones that other people say?
Anything. All of them.
The best quote that I remember I did this quote. In fact, I did a quote. My very first time I ever taught a lesson was I taught 5th grade. Disastrous year of teaching, by the way. Right? It was a disaster because I had 0 teaching experience. I never was a student teacher. They told me in order to get certified, if you could get a job in like a Catholic school or a parochial, a private school, that New York State will waive the student teaching component to becoming certified. So I just started calling up all these Catholic schools saying, hey, you need a teacher? It's like third week of August. Hey, you guys need a teacher? You guys need... Finally, the school, Catholic Academy of West Buffalo said, would you be interested in teaching 5th grade? I'm like, yeah, sure, sounds great. I know nothing about teaching. Nothing. Right? Anyways, I had a lot of fun, and nothing, didn't accomplish much, but we had a lot of fun. But anyways, my very first quote, first time I ever taught anything in like an organized, traditional school setting, I used a quote by Teddy Roosevelt. And it was, I don't always get it right exactly, but it was far better it is to dare mighty dares. Right? This is a great quote. Teddy Roosevelt was really, he was a cool president. Can you get that? Far better it is to dare mighty dares, to win glorious triumphs,